back again. Fall means football and good coffee. Let's get into some games, shall we? First one up is Florida at Kentucky. That's where SEC Nation currently is. This has always been a pretty intense game. It's always been back and forth. When host Tim Tebow was at Florida, of course, he went 4-0 against the Wildcats. But in the last couple of years, it's been really back and forth. Florida has got things kind of turned around a little bit. They seem to be doing really well, but Kentucky is undefeated. So I think it's going to be back and forth. And I think the Wildcats may actually pull out a home win because by the size of the crowd and the sound of the crowd that's currently at SEC Nation that's going to go right into the field whenever they're done, I think the Wildcats have home field advantage. Next one is Texas A&M and Arkansas. This one is always an intense game. Sam Pittman has the Arkansas Razorbacks rolling and ready to go. Jimbo seems to be starting to turn things around at Texas A&M. Again, I think this one's going to be pretty back and forth. And I think Texas A&M may actually pull this one out. I think they're going to win this one. Next on CBS, 2:30 kickoff, Deep South's oldest rivalry, Georgia at Auburn. Again, this one is always a game that you really don't know what's going to happen. Georgia, of course, is rolling this year like they usually are. They seem to be struggling just a little bit just because of new players and everything like that. And Hugh Freeze has got Auburn just on a tear. I think this one goes into overtime. I think it's going to be an interesting game. And I think the Auburn Tigers might actually pull up the upset and beat Georgia and hand them the first loss of the season. Next one is Missouri at Vanderbilt. Missouri is always doing really well, or is doing really well this year. Vandy's unfortunately struggling this year. Even though it is a home game, I think Missouri pulls it out. I think Missouri gets the win at Vanderbilt. Next at 5 o'clock kickoff on ESPN is going to be LSU at Ole Miss. Again, this is one that is always a back and forth game. It's always an intense game. And I think LSU pulls out the win for this one. I think the Tigers get a win in Oxford. Another one that is going to be a hard-hitting, intense game is South Carolina at Tennessee. Jordan Rogers on SEC Nation said Tennessee's not out for revenge in this game. They're out for a reckoning. If you know, you know. This is the game that knocked out Hendon Hooker last season. South Carolina is playing hard. They are playing intense, and they're coming off a very hard-fought win over Mississippi State last week going into Knoxville. Again, I think this one is going to be back and forth. It's going to be intense, and I think Tennessee does come out with a win because it's Neyland Stadium and come on, I think that's what's going to happen. The last game of the night is going to be Alabama at Tennessee. This one is one that always makes me nervous just because we are playing Alabama. We are playing them at home. I feel like the Bulldog faithful are going to turn out for this one. I think, again, this is going to be a really intense game. I think it is going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think. But I do think Alabama comes out with a win. I would love for Mississippi State to prove me wrong, though. I would love for them to prove me wrong. And a bonus game. It's not in the SEC, but it is going to be a phenomenal game, I feel like. College Game Day is currently at Duke University for the first time ever for football. They've been there for basketball a lot, but this time it's for football. If you know me at all, you know that I'm a Duke girl at heart. My older brother spent a lot of time there whenever he was younger, and my parents did as well. So we are big, especially Duke Hospital fans. We are great Duke basketball fans, and we have become Duke football fans because they have been doing really, really well. So Notre Dame at Duke. Again, I think Duke is going to give Notre Dame a harder game than they think. I think it is going to be very back and forth for a while, and I'm going to go out on a limb. I say Duke wins. I say Duke beats Notre Dame in Durham tonight. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and we'll see you next week. Have some good coffee and have some good football.